Going on, man? This is ENigma.
Yeah, and this is T-Nigma, and this is Enigmas Unchained. What it do, my peoples? This is T-Nigma with Enigmas Unchained, and we are back again for a whole nother episode. The situation is very interesting. We're going to be talking about producers and the music that they created over the past couple of decades. And we're going to deal with the different perspectives on where each one of them come from. I will be honest, I'm a novice in this area. You know, music, I just listen to it. I don't be looking for nobody else's information. But I'm glad that I have two official dudes on my side to actually answer this thing. So first things first, I have to introduce you to your boy, your friend's best friend, Ice. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, ain't no complaints around here.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. And so then I got your man's best man. He the man that you can trust. The one that you can't get away from, the champ with the longest arms. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take you a long time to box with this brother. We got Shawn from Champions Material. How you doing, brother?
Maintaining. Glad to be here. Always good to be here. Appreciate the invite. Definitely. Let's go ahead and tap into this thing.
Absolutely. So, like I said, this is talking about producers, music producers, and we're pretty much just dealing with like, what is it that we really look for when it comes to sound? Now, I'm pretty much going to moderate this conversation. I'm going to leave this to Shawn and Ice to really deal with. And I'm going to ask them questions, and I'll probably pop in every once in a while just to add some things to flesh it out. But they're going to free verse when it comes to this situation. So here's first question, and anybody can take it. You know, the same way as we always done. All you have to do is, you know, jump in and get straight to it. Now, how do you like your sound?
Ice, kick it off, brother.
I was gonna let you take it, but
okay. Well, no, I'll go ahead and get in there. You know, I'm a guest in y'all's house, so you know, I just wanted to be respectful about
you good? No,
but
your shoes.
You ain't no guest no more.
Yeah, you lost that privilege, sucker. You just in here now, so you just talk when you feel like it.
Much appreciated, man. And I will say this, man. I think just in general, you know, we all as men, we evolve. You know what I mean? As we transition from being, you know, boys to men, we evolve naturally as people, right? Or we should at least, right? And so what I look for in music evolved, you know? So when I was coming up and I was younger and I was just, let's just say, a bit more aggressive, that's, you know, what I was looking for, you know what I mean? So Protect Your Neck, you know, was my anthem, right? Give Me the Loot, you know, that was my anthem, right? You know, so that was just sort of, you know, my thing. Hit them up. As disrespectful as it was, on site. Remember, let's bring that back. That was pretty much, you know, my vibe at the time when I was much younger. But then as I, you know, transitioned more into adulthood, or at least was coming out of, you know, the high school era, the high school age, and starting to understand perspective, then it was all about, for me, having the sound from a production standpoint that really complemented bars and people and MCs that were saying something. So, like, for example, my album of the decade of the 90s is Black Star, Talib Kweli, Mos Def. To me, that album is perfect from start to finish. You talk about unskippables, put it in. Back then, you actually put a CD or a tape in to start it, right? Before all this streaming nonsense. You put it in and you just let it ride. And if you notice the sound to Black Star, it wasn't about being aggressive. It wasn't about, you know, the sound wasn't, hey, look at me. What the sound did was complimented the bars, and because these brothers were saying something. And I would say from around that era on, that's what I prefer. Now, I'm cool with the 808s and the big beats, and I'm cool with the club joints, right? With different moods, different situations, different circumstances. So it's good to have some of that every now and then. And yeah, I've definitely grown and evolved, but you know, I still have a ratchet bone in my body, you know, that'll appear every now and then. So I'm cool with that. But for the most part, my sound is a sound where it's all about the beat complementing the bars from MCs that's really trying to say something. That's what I prefer. So that's why I'll start first and foremost. Ice, what about you, brother?
Oh man. Maybe I should have went first. But yeah, nah. I'm gonna go back. Like when I first like really got into music. The first song that I can remember like really paying attention to was like Queen Latifah, UNITY. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then like that saxophone never left me. Like, even though I never played it, it stuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though
that song's still tough, Bo.
Oh yeah,
that song's still tough, man.
That's a song that stands the test of time, man. Like, matter of fact, I might need to go back and look and see who made that, because he whoever that is, man, woman, whoever, like, they deserve their roses for that. But Shawn, I'm pretty much like you, man. Like, even though as we got older, I I'll say, like, I started to evolve, like with it when it came with the productions and the sounds and stuff. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'll go back to Stop Being Greedy in a minute. Like Stop Being Greedy, Notorious Thugs. Oh man, like the other day, matter of fact, I was listening to Getting Mine in the 199. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was just skipping through channels. As soon as I heard that one, I was like, oh, nope, I'm good. Let me listen to that real quick. And then, but don't get me wrong, lately, some of the, like, most, I ain't even gonna say all of it, but like some of the trap beats that's out right now, I can get down with, because like mostly because of who makes them. Because some of them pretty much are repetitive at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because like nowadays, you might assume you got like because like right now, like your main people are like Metro,
Metro Boomin, Weezy out of here.
No, ATL Jacob, he's starting to. Well, Future gave him some leeway, so he's trying. He ain't made it that far. But like, I remember growing up, you know, we grew up on like Snoop and Dre, and Dre pretty much carried the beginning of his career until he left for Death Row and went to No Limit. I didn't think a lot of people were living the medicine man, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man. You know, I would say this. I think for me, the first beat, when you talk, since we're really more or less focused on the production and, you know, the producers and the sound, I would say the first beat that really grabbed me on a track, I was real young for this one. I'm Bad, LL Cool J. That was the first beat that grabbed me, where I just said, okay, like, again, it's aggressive, unapologetic. You know, forget Oreos, eat Cool J cookies, I'm bad. You know, that was the first beat where I was like, okay, what L is saying, he's definitely getting off, but that beat is just nasty. And I would say, as far as a producer and the sound that grabbed me from Jump Ball, Dr. Dre, and I would go not necessarily NWA, as much as I was young. So I was catching what I could, but really couldn't. The Chronic and Doggy Style back to back. So he was the first producer whose sound really spoke to me. And really, I would argue, would I say Dr. Dre is necessarily the best or the greatest producer? I would personally say no, but I would understand those who would say yes. I don't think there's an argument that he's the most important as far as the sound he ushered in We're talking from the late 80s up through now, right? So again, it's all about just, taste. But one thing I will say is the best producers, and I know I'm not gonna step on it too early now because I know T-Nigma gonna get into that here in a minute. But one, common thread when we probably list our best producers or the producers that impacted us, we talked about how we evolved as we have, come along into manhood. Producers that evolve, their sound evolves. It's not catchy. It's not in the moment. They understand what's going on, during the time from the time that they start, and they understand, okay, this is where the sound is going as far as MCs. So my sound needs to complement that as far as the production. So the producers that evolve, those are the ones that stand the test of time, in my view. You stay stagnant, eventually you get up out the paint.
That's agreed. You got something to say, bro? Okay. You want to add more to that?
True. Because yeah, I'm gonna add something else too.
Go ahead, bro.
Because that remind me of because I thought about this maybe like right after me and you started brainstorming about this. Like, how many people are really talking about Lex Luger right now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because to me, he opened the door for Metro, for Mike Will. You know what I'm saying? 808 Mafia. Like, you don't even like maybe the only person that's still doing anything out of that group right now to me is like TM88.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know this song here, and like you said, like the only reason it's making the waves it's making is because it's catchy. But TM88 I think he has production credit on Drake's Way Too Sexy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shout out to Kawhi for the dance in the video, man. But to your point, there's nothing wrong. Like there's room for, just like there's room for rappers that can, more or less just understand. Like Rick Ross to me is the greatest of all time when it comes to picking beats that work for him. His ear for sound, his ear for the production, the whole Maybach, the whole camp. He's the best I've ever seen or heard as far as understanding, like, okay, with my flow and my delivery, and trust me, I mean, Ross got some bars, but he also just got some tracks. MC Hammer, probably the best example of this with Gucci back in the day, where if he just want to hit you with the ratchetness, he understands the beat that can complement that perfectly, right? So again, there's a room for, MCs or rappers that, could be catchy in a moment, just like there's room for beats that could be catchy in a moment. But to you all's point, for the idea of this podcast, at least how I saw it, it's about identifying the sound and the hit makers that stand the test of time.
Absolutely.
That have longevity and staying power. And those are the ones that I'm speaking to, the ones that we'll speak to when we start, highlighting individuals specifically. In my opinion, every last one of them have done a great job of evolving over the years. Agreed. That's what counts in my book.
I think you're correct. I mean, you have to, any industry that you're in, if you refuse to change, you will get left behind. I mean,
and also know your artist. Know your artist.
Yeah.
When you get a certain measure of success, sometimes your beats and you believe in yourself and you believe in your beats. But at the end of the day, you have to also have a connection with the artist. One of the things that, Dr. Dre is notorious for, and Snoop has spoke to this, anybody who's ever worked with him, Dog Pound, they've said one thing about Dre is, he'll challenge you, but at the same time, he's getting into, your ear as far as what your flow is, what your delivery is, what your topic is, what is the point that you're trying to get across. And then he makes adjustments to his production to match that. Right. That's where it counts. So it's not just the fact that you're talented at what you do, but do you also understand how to not just work with the artist, but know the artist and understand where they're coming from so that your beat can maximize their flow and their delivery to make that track that stands the test of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is great because I think this is a perfect segue into the second question, because you both have kind of already hit on it. But let's just go ahead and jump in this bad boy. What producer has had the most influence over modern music? When I say modern music, we have to pretty much just take in the account probably the last 20 to 25 years, just to give you a good umbrella. So that's like the 2020s, 10s, and late 90s. So who would you put in that camp? You know, I will say you're allowed to do multiple people.
I would say, man, just to take the stress off. Because I know it's bad. Because I thought I was like, man, I don't know. So you can't just pick one. So process that. Like, y'all can take a moment. You know what I'm saying? Which producer has had the most influence on modern music? Like who is like the patriarch or the prototype, so to speak, or matriarch, a prototype for a beat that sounds that you can hear it even now as the younger producers and stuff like that are making sound to. Put it this way for me, since you wanted to take it, back, we'll say modern hip hop for me, my age, and when I really got into it was really early 90s on. So all respect to the 80s, because obviously hip hop truly came into its own in the 80s.
Absolutely.
But my age, my perspective, where I'm coming from, we're talking early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And these three, in my opinion, you don't have a conversation about where production within hip hop, where it was to where it's evolved now, without mentioning these three. I already mentioned one. Number one, Dr. Dre. And again, I have him as the most important. We're not saying best. Important hit maker as far as a producer in hip hop history. This man has been doing it since the late 80s with NWA. And he, to this day, again, knowing how to evolve, to this day, can give it to you. When you want a track, and when you want a couple tracks on your album, West Coast, particularly West Coast, but he can obviously go Midwest and East too, as we know. Get it to Dre, and Dre get it done. So him first and foremost. Number two, No ID. No ID. I understand that his protege, Kanye West, has gone on to do great things. Say what you want about Kanye. Amazing producer, period. I mean, the man is ridiculous. All right. As Hove, as anybody, as Dipset, as anybody who's worked with him, as Common. In my opinion, his best album, B, that's Kanye for you. Right. So I get it. But Kanye learned from No ID. No ID, to me, like the sound of the Midwest, with the exception of Nelly, St. Lunatics, that is his own thing. Right. But I'm saying the sound of the Midwest, Common, Twisted back in the day, among others, who I'm probably not thinking of off the top of the dome. No ID established. Basically, he's the Dr. J, and Kanye became the MJ. No ID was the prototype. You don't have Mike without Dr. J from the free throw line, right? You don't, in my opinion, you don't have the Kanye that we had, especially the Kanye through Graduation. Now, 808 and Heartbreak, from that point on, that was Ye and his Ye-ness. That's a whole nother conversation. But the Ye that we, and I'm pretty sure that I'm speaking for the three of us, that we said, okay, this brother's got something. That Ye, from a production standpoint, that comes from No ID. So No ID is number two for me. And number three, RIP, and I think this brother is highly underrated, Jay Dilla. Jay Dilla. You do not have a conversation. You can go Midwest. Obviously, you're talking, Midwest and even carrying it to the East. Jay Dilla. Now, Alchemist and, lately Big Ghost, honorable mention. But since we're taking it back and then we're saying, okay, who defined it? I start with those three. And then beyond those three, as we're kind of evolving this thing and we're coming into where we are now, Kanye West, who I've already mentioned, Just Blaze, and the Neptunes. I don't just say Pharrell. It's disrespectful to just say Pharrell.
It is very disrespectful.
Because Chad is just as important to that sound of the Neptunes.
I told y'all, man, Chad's my hero, yo.
Chad Hugo, yeah. So we're not going to just say Pharrell or for real, as Hov would call them. We're saying Neptunes. So for me, and I can go off, I know I'm missing plenty. I mean, it's impossible. Kind of like with, MCs. It will be impossible to get everybody in. But when you're having a conversation about my arc, when you're talking about the sound of hip hop, Dr. Dre, No ID, Jay Dilla, Kanye West, Just Blaze, Neptunes, and last but certainly not least, shout out to my guy, High Tech. And that for me is where I would start and stop, and then you can have a conversation afterwards. Ice, take it away, brother.
Oh man, I remember when like I used because like in high school I used to make mixtapes for everybody, and you can attest for that. Like sometimes like I end up throwing like a High Tech produced track on there about a good like twice, and and didn't even realize it until he told me. But nobody complained. You know what I'm saying? Because like I've always held High Tech in a high regard. You know what I'm saying? Like even though you don't hear him a whole lot now, like his stuff, like you say, like his stuff still stands the test of time. But yeah, like I agree with you. Like Dre, I think Dre was when people really started paying attention to like the production side. Like, oh, okay, well, like Snoop getting it in, he doing his thing, but Dr. Dre pretty much laid that foundation for him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get like you know what I'm saying, you move over to like our neck of the woods, then you get like then you get Jay Dilla, like and like that, and to me, like us, the old, like you know what I'm saying, like the old heads in rap, like we're still the ones that carry his name. Like we'll bring him up forever and a day. Like the younger generations are the ones that probably the ones that need to have that name in their ear. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like I might check him out or something like that. And then you get like you say, like of course, like shout out to No ID because basically, like you know what I mean, like anything that I can say about him, you pretty much already covered. Without No ID, who's to say Kanye would have made it as far as he did now, as far as he has at this point?
Absolutely. And let me just hop in there real quick for a split second, man, with No ID. It brought me great joy for the cats nowadays. We already knew. But like, for example, my son just started high school. Shout out to the champ, Sebastian, when he had a chance to bump 444, right? And he listened to that Hove here recently, and he was like, yo, who's doing this? And I was able to sit him down and had a conversation and let him know all things No ID. And I'm glad because now for the cats coming up now, they understand just what this is now, the way that we've always understood what it was with No ID, man. So I had to get that in there. My fault. Go ahead, take it.
No, man, don't apologize for that. Not at all. And then I'm gonna tell you another one that I don't think he's out. Like a lot of people don't pay attention to him like I would love for everybody to. Soundtrack. Like he, you know what I'm saying, like when we first started bumping Lupe, and you know what I'm saying, you got, you know what I'm saying, like you got past the spoken word in the beginning, and then that track 2 hit you in the face, like that real, and that's when I was like, okay, who, like when I was like, wait a minute, now I like this cat, like who is this? And I wanted more of them, but the only person I can get them from is Lupe. Like you don't hear a whole lot of soundtrack like that. I think Staley had him on a track on one of his mixtapes. But other than that, I like that's the only time you hear him.
There you go. Honorable mention. That's a good one. Yeah, no doubt.
Oh yeah, love soundtrack. Like I say, like High Tech, Timbaland. Like Timbaland, like he came out, you know what I'm saying? Like if one for Missy and Timbo pretty much
symbiosis, bro.
Yeah.
It's symbiosis there. Yeah.
They brought the best out of each other when it came down to it. You know what I'm saying? Like when nobody paying attention to like 2 kids from Virginia like that. So it was like, oh, okay. So because think about it, like you had your New York sound, you had your West Coast sound, you had your down south sound, you know what I'm saying? And I think that we were just getting out of No Limit. Because like by that time, Medicine Man, they got tired of what was going on down there, so they left P, You know what I'm saying? So he had to figure it out on his own with the production side. Matter of fact, even like I talk about the Medicine Man as a whole, but like KLC.
Yeah, I mean, I was going, bring that up a little bit later, but since you brought it up, I mean, beats by the pound. Come on, man. KLC, and specifically KLC, and Craig B, shout out to him, but specifically KLC, beats by the pound, no limit. When you talk about the arc of when they were cooking, putting out an album a month, there's No Limit Records with beats by the pound. And then we know what happened as far as, they were looking for a little bit more recognition, a little bit more cheddar, but, and P wasn't having it. And so they moved on. So you got No Limit Records with Beats by the Pound. And it was No Limit Records after Beats by the Pound. I think we both know the difference. No need to even really, elaborate too much.
Especially since I'm a novice, I have to ask. So was it Beats by the Pound that gave us, nah? Who gave us that?
Anything of note that you can remember now, from No Limit Records comes from Beats by the Pound, specifically KLC.
Yeah, that beat was ignorant, man. I'm
gonna put it like this in. Let me see. So when I first, like when I was really into No Limit, go all the way up until The Last Meal.
Okay. All right.
So that was the stopping point.
That helps me out because he used to bump No Limit. Ice was a No Limit soldier. So he used to bump No Limit all day. So yeah, I just want to know. I was like, because like most of the beats that I heard from No Limit, I was like, I didn't understand a word most of these suckers were saying. That beat though, man, I was like, goodness gracious. Yeah. Top
album from that camp for me all time still is True to the Game. That was off of the Three Brothers. That was Silk. That was C Murder, in my opinion, underrated, still locked up. Hopefully he'll get out soon. But Louisiana down there, they ugly with how they treat black folk.
Yeah.
And obviously P, but True to the Game, that album is their apex in my opinion, as far as a group. Solo for me, and I'll argue this with anybody. Life or Death, C Murder, his joint. And it was right around, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And it was right around that time where, the Beats by the Pound they was looking for theirs, man. They was like, look, we was cool getting the underground money when we were underground. But Post Make 'Em Say off of Ghetto D, which in my opinion, that's the best solo album of all of them, Ghetto D, Master P. Following that, and they was really on the road there for a minute, as before Cash Money called them. The Beats by the Pound was just saying like, all right, we ain't making the underground money no more. Let's sit down and do this. P was like, nah, I'm cool. And so they kept it moving. And then you saw what happened with that label after the fact.
That's very fair.
Right? Yeah, so, man. But I don't want to derail this too much, but just had to
No. That actually, I got to throw in a bonus question because I didn't even, can you think of any other instance like that where when the producer left, then the people pretty much ended up failing? Is there any other one that you can think of off the top of the dome where like in that same situation where Cash Money was coming up, No Limit, so they were coming right up right behind them, and then you saw No Limit just kind of fade. Like we finally got Mercedes, and I remember that. I was like, this album has been. The album has been in
for all the youngest out there. Look up that album. Look up that album cover.
Made any kind of money.
No, but you actually to answer your question, though, or at least to start to answer your question, you actually led into it with, I would say, Manny Fresh. Now, once Young Money, that was more Wayne, and you just had Slim, who just really the guy behind it. Birdman is just kind of like the front man.
Mm-hmm.
But before, basically in between Cash Money, as far as the Hot Boys, and then Young Money, where Drake and Nicki and the others came in, when Manny left, and it was very similar circumstances where, it just the money wasn't quite right. As they were coming up, the money, stayed the same. And there was a gap there for a while. Now they were able to regroup down the line with Young Money. Like I said, with Nicki, carried primarily with Nicki and Drake to go along with Wayne. But there was a lull there for a minute once Manny got up out the paint. So ultimately, especially if you are if you have a brand as a label or as an artist, you really count on the production to really kind of carry you, and you're complimenting the production. That's where it's a slippery slope, and you have to understand the importance of having that producer that's making them beats for you, especially when you know him, he knows you, or you know her and she knows you.
Yeah.
It's if you're going to be an MC that's reliant on production, you have to understand just how important that producer is to you. Yeah, you may blow up, but the sound and the beats are just as important as you. So when you're doing them live concerts, getting that money, people are, rocking to the beat as much as they rocking to what you're saying, if you're that kind of MC. So like the two examples that we laid out that Ice touched on as well, Beats by the Pound, Manny and Cash Money, and there's others I'm just not thinking of off the top of the dome. You better know the value of the production, otherwise it's a wrap.
You got any more, Ice?
Oh yeah, and I've been talking about this for like a good couple of years now. If it wasn't for 40, where would Drake be?
That's a good point.
That's
point.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
Now I will say this: he's got, I will say, love him or hate him, he's got bars, right?
Oh,
but his sound, 40 is, I got you. I hear you.
Oh yeah, because what I'm saying, like when he first started out, what I'm saying, like people was like, oh okay, we have, what I'm saying, because he was doing, he was doing like a little bit on Degrassi, when when he was starting out or whatever. And then
Jimmy. Jimmy in the wheelchair, bro. Give him the microphone.
Right.
Yeah.
Just funny story about that before I get finished. Like I was reading an article the other day, and they were like, he actually went up to the producers so that to try to get out of the wheelchair, because supposedly, like the cats, some of the cats he was coming up with in rap was looking at him like he was soft or something.
It's crazy. I remember when he dropped his name Aubrey, because that's his real name. But when he dropped his name Aubrey and he went down with Lil Wayne, and I remember people being like, "Yo, that dude is supposed to be in a wheelchair," like in that same sense.
Yeah.
And we were like, "That was a TV show, bro." And they're like, "Nah, man, that's that dude. He in a wheelchair rapping, right?" And we was like, "Oh my goodness!" So I understand why he was probably, I didn't get as far away from this stuff as possible. Give me as much weed as I can smoke. Give me anything I can do to kind of kill this image. Give me some weights. Let me go lift some weights. Let me figure this out. Because he had to distance himself fully from the character of Jimmy from Degrassi. It would have killed his career. On his way up. So who did Forever?
Who did for Boy Wonder?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Boy Wonder did that one.
That beat was
crazy. Yeah, with Drake. Yeah, man, he fell off in Texas and ain't looked back since.
Pretty much. I'm like, is he Canadian anymore? I mean, like, does he even claim the folk anymore? I don't know.
No, he claimed.
I'm just playing, man.
Oh yeah, he's literally the ambassador for Canada. Oh yeah, he claiming.
Yeah. All right. So
he the ambassador for Toronto, Houston, and Memphis.
Goodness gracious, man.
Dude,
so
like you gotta I don't know where it is, but you gotta because I think they interviewed Project Pat because he got a feature on CBL. Well, CLB or however.
Yeah, you good, man. We know what you're talking about.
But Pat got a feature on there. So, and I think he was like, like if anybody touch Drake or touch his dad, then like we put him on the shelf. I'm like, what?
Goodness gracious! Dang.
Oh, okay. And mind you, who this is we talk about.
Yeah, that's Pat, man. Yeah, that dude dangerous. Any other ones though outside of that, like anybody else you could think?
I mean, there's plenty that you can, there's plenty if I sat and really thought about it. But just for the context of this, and also just understanding, like there's just. For me specifically, there was just certain hit makers and producers that just kind of stand out above the rest. Like as he was mentioning, Pat, naturally you think Paul, DJ Paul, GCJ. So if you really sit down and, get to it. Obviously, down there at Suave House, and then also down there in Texas with UGK and DJ Screw, RIP. You know what I mean? So if I sat and really thought about it, then you can lay out some more. But just for the purposes of, to me, the hit makers that have stood out above the rest, I pretty much listed them.
I'm glad you said that, because like with Screw, like Screw's production, like his style is stood the test of time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though he didn't passed away, you still, like, nowadays, you still got cats doing chopping and screwed albums. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a block on Drake's Sirius channel where they just like everything like for that whole like hour or two is just chopped and screwed. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like I don't even know what the song was, but it gave me a whole new perspective on the song when I heard it like that, as opposed to just hearing it the regular way. So yeah, like Screw, like his legacy ain't going nowhere at all. Like, and that's
definitely chopped and screwed. It gets down with that every now and then. I'll throw in my favorite chopped and screwed album is based on a true story, the 2 Chainz joint. That version, that chopped and screwed version of that, absolutely ugly. And my favorite track, if you can find it now, is Gotta Have It off the Watch the Throne. That was chopped and screwed. What you need. What you need, God, and the way they was able to, chop and screw that thing up. And one, staple of chopped and screwed is when there's a specific bar, they'll run it back a couple of times. They'll literally and then run it back and run it back, and it's in the right hands. Chopped and screwed is dangerous. Trust me. So yeah, R.I.P. Screw. I hadn't heard that sound before him, so I have to give it up to him because trust me, there's definitely some cats that tell you, man, my dude from down the block. But I'm saying as far as the mainstream,
no.
He was the first one to introduce that, and to give you an idea of his impact, it's outlived him to this day.
Yeah. So
yeah, good stuff, man. But I know you was go ahead, Trev.
No, I'm about to say like this also is good to go to the third question, which is what's the difference? Like, what's a fine line between a club beat and a vibe beat? You know what I'm saying? So like, and I mean, you can take 2 genres or 2 types of sounds that you guys are used to in rap, and tell me what's the difference like that you can think of between it becoming a club beat and then it becoming a vibe beat.
Here's how I can do it. I can sit here and do a detailed breakdown. No, there are 2 tracks that to me symbolize. When you're talking about trying to, like, say if you somebody, as you just literally posed a question, the difference between a club beat and a vibe beat. Club beat, to the window, to the wall. We ain't got to say the rest, especially on your podcast. All right, that's a club beat. Does it get it done for the purposes of what it's meant for? Absolutely. Ooh. I'll just use the words comfortable, out somewhere at an event or whatever. Yeah, you throw that on right now. And people are like, oh, excuse me, let me get. Yeah, that's a club beat.
Yeah.
To me, the definition of a vibe beat. B don't kill my vibe. K Dot. Good Kid, Mad City. B word don't kill my vibe. You know what I'm talking about? Good Kid, Mad City. I know I'm a sinner. Probably gonna sin again. Lord, forgive me. That joint.
Yeah.
Don't kill my vibe. Don't kill my vibe. That to me is a definitive vibe beat. Right? You can bump it in the club. That's the one where, all right, you dap up your fellas and you're like, all right, I spoke to her about 30 minutes ago. Let me go get her. I'll be back in 5. That to me is the definitive like vibe beat. It's not meant to be, loud and just over the top. But it gets it done. And that's one of them joints that you can bump it in the car, right? You can bump it in the background, whether if you're working on something solo. And if you out, like I said, if you out and about, that come on, That's when you get grown. That to me is a vibe beat. Club beat is just like, all right, excuse me, I'm throwing these balls. Let me just get out here and get after it. Let me get rambunctious for about 3 or 4 minutes. I'm not apologizing for any of it. That's a club beat. Vibe beat is, look, man, we all grown here. Let's just act like it.
Yeah.
And those 2 tracks for me symbolize the answer to your question. Ice, what about you?
Let's see. Club beat. Well, as a matter of fact, just have Lil Jon just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah, all Lil Jon made was club for the club. Everything.
Okay. But specifically, I say you did get low. Okay. Georgia Dome. You know, as soon as even like the beat don't even have to like fully come in yet. You already like they already know. So like they gonna get done. They on the flow. Whatever happens. Well, yeah. And we've seen this. So,
yes.
you know,
I've fled clubs when these things have come on. With my whole life intact. So yeah. Oh yeah, you're right, man. It's
right. In the beginning, like before the split up, 3-6 Mafia. You just reminded me about that.
Tear the club up. Right. That might arguably be the most club track. It's literally tear the club up, N-word, tear the club up.
I literally had nightmares about that doggone song, bro. I've watched 3 clubs in my youth get shot up because of that goddamn song. So once you said to the club, I had a flashback. It was like PTSD. I'm like, oh God, no. It was around this time of night. It was around this time of night. That's right.
And the most club rapper, and I will argue anybody this all the time when you're talking about just somebody where you're like, look, man, I was fine, but you know, he started saying what he was saying, and I just got to do what I was doing. Crunchy Black. Woo. Crunchy Black from the 3-6 Mafia. Like, man, what happened, man? You was just sitting down. Well, I was sitting down, but then I got up. He's that dude.
First came on, and you know,
you just knew. And then you mentioned him before, you know, Project Pat right behind him. Got that tech, and I got up in his neck. I was like, well, he said to do it, so I just did it. You know, certain people just. I should apologize, but I won't. I mean, I was in my youth.
No.
I mean, I goodness gracious, that's crazy. But you, like I said, these are just flashbacks. Now I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it's just. Yeah. I remember, like once you said, I was like, oh man, I remember like cats just like literally hitting it, blowing the smoke in circles. While I'm like, oh, I gotta get out of here.
You got to moving around, and it was always that one cat where you got to moving around, whether it was intentional or not.
Yeah,
it was that one cat that was just always moving around, and next thing you know, he just stopped and he go, "Okay, look, I just got these shoes and they cost me $300."
Yeah, pretty much.
So you either gonna give me this $300 out your pocket right now for stepping on these shoes, I'm stepping on your neck. Yeah. Crunchy Black said so. Like, just certain people just had But nah, man, it's club beats are very specific. Vibe beats are multidimensional. That's probably the best way I can put it.
That's good.
Let me see. Let's see if I come up with a vibe beat. Honestly, I'm thinking about 2 that are vibe beats to me. Drake TSU and Schoolboy Q Collard Greens.
The K-Dot. There you go. So if you want to go there, like I said, the definitive one is Be Don't Kill My Vibe, Good Kid, Mad City. In my opinion, the best vibe beat for my money is I Do off of Jeezy's joint with 3 Stacks, my top rapper of all time, and Hove. Yes. I think I see some ladies in here tonight. I do. That joint. That to me is the definitive. We talk about just a vibe, multi-dimensional, multi-purpose, right? You can dance with it, you can groove with it, but it's also, you know, the precursor to, you know, never mind, let me not. But for my money, pound for pound, you're talking to a boxer, pound for pound, the definitive vibe beat I do. Jeezy, 3 Stacks, Hov, all of them got off. All of them.
Oh yeah.
And we're talking about production. Come on now. And production on that.
So
stop it.
Oh, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Shoot. I'm throwing that one up. This can go either way. Seen It All, Jay and Jeezy.
There you go.
Cardo. Love that track, man. Cardo don't get the respect he deserves either. I know people do, say have a track here and a track there, but I don't think he get his flowers like he's supposed to either.
Not at all.
So once again, this leads into the next question very well, because then the artist producer collaboration situation, so we can take just the late 90s and the 2000s, okay, and give me at least three artists and producer collaborations that like you guys have touched on it throughout the pod already. But can you think of more? Can you think of some more that they don't have to be severely mainstream, because this is something that people would more than likely look up, So what would you call a phenomenal artist producer collaboration? 90s, late 90s era, 2000s era.
Okay, well, the three, when you asked me this, or when you posed this question, I just immediately went with the three that immediately came to mind, because these are the three that have not been topped. Starting with RZA, and then the Wu-Tang Clan, Enter the Wu, 36 Chambers.
There's nobody.
Clan in the front, Let Your Feet Stop. You know what I mean? Cashews, everything around me. That the symbiosis.
Yeah, that was
man.
Special.
And that group, specifically Meth, because Meth, in my opinion, stood out. ODB for different reasons as well. I think Raekwon and Ghost are probably the most underrated.
Yeah.
But the symbiosis between the sound that he cultivated, and how it seamlessly merged with the sound that was coming out of every last one of them MCs to put together, in my opinion, a classic album. So when you're talking about a collab, and I know he was technically a part of that group, but RZA makes his bones as a producer. So I'm gonna kick it off with that one. My second one would be, we're talking 2000s on this one. I'm going with the Neptunes. I don't say for real. I'm going with the Neptunes. Shout out to Chad.
That's right.
And the Clips. Hell Have No Fury.
Keys open doors, man.
Keys open doors.
I literally had to calm down when you said that, because
Push and Malice, and obviously Malice, and God bless him. He went in another direction, obviously, but at that particular time, both of them, and we talking about the Neptunes really getting to the point where they were established, so they felt like at this point they had every right to really push it the way that they wanted to as far as the sound. This wasn't late 90s. This wasn't, I'm a hustler, baby. Just Jay-Z. It wasn't that. They had gotten to the point now where they had earned the right to do whatever they want. And again, it's the MCs, and it's the symbiotic, it's the MCs and the beats and how they come together almost seamlessly. That to me is a classic album. The way them boys got off and the way them beats got off, I don't want to hear nothing else. And the third to me, and this was fairly recent, Alchemist, Freddie Gibbs, Alfredo. I won't even add any more commentary. Just listen to it. You're welcome. You're welcome. Alchemist, Freddie Gibbs, Alfredo, arguably my album of that year, a couple years back. That album, if you want to talk about, you say, okay, what is the apex? What is the apex mountain for producer, spitter, start from the intro, no skips, just flawless production. Everything Freddie was talking about, an underrated MC in my view anyway.
Of course.
Everything he was talking about, every beat, you're like, say for example, if he went a cappella on each one of his tracks. And then you heard everything he was saying. And then the instrumentals for the beats, you would be able to identify, you could like literally, without hearing them together, you would be able to take the beats and apply them to everything, every one of his bars and every one of his songs that he did a cappella. That's how seamless that album was.
Wow.
So those are the three. Obviously, there's been several others, right? I was talking about Beast Batter Pound and True to the Game. I was talking Watch the Throne, right? Ye and Hove.
Yeah.
So I can comment and Kanye West with the B album, right? I can mention others, but those three, especially from those different eras, since you posed the question that way, stand out the most.
Excellent.
Love Alchemist, man. Shoot. You give me First Infantry all day. Let's see. Now we talking about projects, or we talking about just like producer and MC?
Producer and MC.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a particular project, but just like the like we were talking about, the symbiosis between like that producer and that MC, that just it's almost as if they're like almost operating as one person. You know what I'm saying? When the beat drop. Yeah. What you got?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, shoot. Where we gonna go? Like, and like I say, like we probably forgetting a lot of cats, but it's just that's just how much music we probably listen to from when we started to this point at this point in time. I mean, of course, like in the beginning, like it was Dre and Snoop. You know what I'm saying? What, like early, like, you know what I'm saying, the 90s, carrying over to the 2000s.
Doggy Style, Chronic. I brought this one up a little bit earlier, but 444, No ID, and Jay-Z, that was just, it's in the running for Hoves. I think Blueprint and Black Album, I think any like top Hove album, if you're gonna have that conversation, you got to start there with Blueprint and Black Album. But I'll put 444 up there. Yeah. Personally, American Gangster for me, but just for the purposes of like, mainstream discussion, 444, and that was an entire No ID operation with that one. Hove tried to do the same thing with Tim, with Magna Carta. Some mixed results there, right? There was some times where it worked, sometimes where it just maybe didn't. But that next one, with 444 with No ID.
Oh yeah.
Family Feud, stop it. Right? I mean, I can go on and on and on. Like it's again, I think, and I love this topic when you brought it to me. And again, appreciate you having me on. The importance of not just a MC with talent.
Yeah.
The latest joint, I mean, Nas with these last couple of joints with Hit Boy. Come on now. Like the importance of
King's disease.
Not just I would say his best since I would say his best since Life is Good. Nas, but I digress. The importance of not just an MC that can get it done, and not just a producer that's talented and can get it done. It's their ability to come together and have an understanding and know how to work with one another. That's what makes a project truly special. Versus, all right, that's a nice beat, but my man was talking some different stuff, or my man was talking some stuff, but that beat was clubby. This man was talking like when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But when it does, is when you have that understanding on both sides, and you're just merging the talent. It's kind of like players in the league, where sometimes you can put together a bunch of all-stars, but if they may not necessarily know how to play together, so you get mixed results. It's not just assembling talent; it's how does that talent play together, right? In sports, same thing with music. What was that?
So like that year when they got the bronze medal.
Yeah, I mean, you had think about that. You had Chuck with AI, you had Tim Duncan, and then you had like young Carmelo and LeBron. Again, talent. Yeah. But them playing together a certain, wasn't quite there. And then it was understood. So 08, the Redeem team. Yeah. You had you brought Kobe in there. You brought J Kidd in there. Some guys that had been some places and done some things. And then they were able to cultivate the young players. And if you notice, all the young players, D-Wade, Bron, Carmelo, right after playing on that 08 team and getting that gold, they all went on in the next 2 or 3 seasons to have the best seasons of their career.
That's true.
That it's not a mistake, because
that's true.
They understood, okay, this is how you play the game. And they got that from Cole, from J Kidd, and from some other players that were veterans. So again, it's not just assembling talent. It's assembling the talent that works well together and that can complement each other. And the same thing goes with a producer and a rapper. Individually, they could be good, but if everything, meshes well, that's when you get greatness.
So Ice, give me two. like one you already said on Dre and Snoop, so that'll cover the 90s. So let's talk about the 2000s. 2000s, give me two, like literal top tier for you. Like doesn't have to be a full production. It's just the artist and that producer just doing work. What you got?
Reflection Eternal.
Talib hadn't been better, in my opinion. And High Tech we were talking about coming into, certain producers, you can kind of tell when they come into their own. That's when he came into his own. That's when he came into his own. And Talib Kweli knew that he was on his way to the run that he had. That's a great one right there, man. That's a good pick, Ice. Good stuff.
And then I can go either because I can go either way. We either era for this one. Let's see, Gangstar and I don't even know how to pronounce it. Rhyme.
Prime, yeah.
Yeah. So because you got Primo and because you got Preem in both groups. Rest in peace to Guru.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, like, my favorite track from Gangstar was it will forever be In the Clouds with Inspector Deck.
Underrated. Deck.
You know what I'm saying?
Him and Jizza, underrated.
Man.
There's some good stuff right there.
That's another vibe beat too. Like that one just make you just sit back and think. You know what I'm saying? Or even if you don't want to think, you just sit back.
That's what a vibe beat do, man. Vibe beat slow you down.
Smooth changing, man.
Yeah, like
makes you think about a few things.
Yeah. So
some good stuff.
All right, so now, like, just quickly, since Shawn brought it up, it's your fault, Shawn. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was gonna say, well, might as well give me one terrible artist and producer collaboration.
Oh God!
like you thought it was gonna be amazing, and you like, this is trash. I was like, give me at least one. Give me at least one. Start some controversy real quick.
Man, you're gonna have people all up in your comments telling us to work, man. I don't I can't put it this way. Chingy and whoever produced right there. Okay, I like it when you do that right there. I said, wait a minute, right, what? Right who? Right when? Right there. I'm like, all right, well, we got it. Okay.
Well, anything from my Nelly's crew, no offense, I just wasn't a fan. I was like, burn every album.
But again, I'll say this though, like, especially early on, like we can say what we want now, but there was a time him specifically, Nelly and Murphy Lee, there was some joints there that you can bob your head to. You were never going to accuse him of being like,
no, he's not an
MCs or thought provoking, but they definitely had some joints that you can rock with. It was when Nelly lost us, I think, as a hip hop collective with the double album, That Suit and That Sweat. And he became my word that I came up with was undefendable. It was just, I was trying to give him some leeway here. And then all of a sudden it was all in my head and I think about it over. I said, what is this nonsense? What is this nonsense? I said, Nelly, what? I said, Ashanti, talk to him. I don't know what to do.
Ashanti, stop talking to him. She did the right.
I said, I don't know what to do. I said, Ashanti, please.
He was like,
but I'll let you later. It happens, man. It happens. It happens where it sounds good in the studio. And typically we know what's going on in these studios. Yeah. So you got, you're drinking a little something, you smoking, you're not quite in your you at times. And so, stuff sounds good when it doesn't. And every now and then you just kind of get some clunkers, but
Ice.
It happens.
What you got, man?
Hey.
One.
I kind of repressed.
Yeah, I mean, once he said Chingy, it is like a whole section of my brain open. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I literally, I'm with you. I was like, this dude does not exist to me. I just, all that music, all the stuff just popped back up in my head, man. I was like, dang. Go ahead, bro.
I actually give him the track he did with Jason Weaver, though.
I'm not giving him anything.
But it's mostly because of the chorus. It wasn't so. I just wanted to get. All I remember was the beat and the chorus. I wasn't worried about what Chingy was talking about.
Who out there actually knows what Chingy is saying? He's the prototype for most rappers today. I'm not gonna get into that. Go ahead, brother. One more
thing before I get into that. But like with Chingy. Chingy was actually with Luda. He wasn't with Nelly and them.
I don't care. I don't care who he was with. I don't care who he was with. That dude's music offended me. I did not hit that. I was like, why is he on this radio? How did he get this deal? Like that I was like, yeah.
Because think about it. Nelly was popping. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, all of a sudden, everybody wanted that St. Louis sound. So for whatever reason,
that's right. Yeah, you are right on that. Yeah, DTP. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was a Shauna. And then ironically, a guy that at the time you wouldn't have known, but not have known, but I knew. I felt like Titty Boy now 2 Chainz, and at this point, I have 2 Chainz in my top 10 all time, and I know shout out to CJ. He, among others, they'll kill me for saying it, but I'll stand by it.
Well, he's not here today, so
yeah, but DTP and Chingy was a part of that, and again to Ice's point, because Nelly was getting off, so he was kind of looking for that sound, right? And Chingy, he had a role that he played for a while, but then outside of that joint that you're talking about with Jason Weaver. And I think he had one more track that he's kind of known for, but you knew pretty early on, like, okay, yeah, this is just not going to work, right? This is not going to work.
No.
And this was in the era, not so much now, but this was in the era where, okay, you had to give me some bars, you had to give me something to think about, something thought provoking. Like now he could come out and he could just be amongst everybody else. But
Chingy could be a diamond rapper right now. It's like he be on diamond right now, bro. Just killing the game. All he needs is a good beat.
But I don't want to get too. I don't want to dump on these brothers too much. It happens. We all have a bad day. Sometimes you have a bad track. It happens.
That dude had bad years. So
it's like this. It's like this with Chingy, man. Like after that first album, it just went downhill because they had a money dispute or something. I think it was a money dispute.
So always money dispute, bro.
So he decided he was going to lead DTP. You're like, oh, okay, well, hey, I'm a star now. I don't need y'all. Y'all need me. Apparently, Luda does not need you.
Yeah, Luda's making stupid money right now. Dude's got his hands and everything. So yeah,
my brother is fast and furious. He's cool.
Yeah, for real. So movies might be trash, but he getting checks. So that's all that really matter, man.
This is family.
That is true. Dorito gonna make sure that dude get paid. So outside of Chingy, we gonna throw this away now, okay? Outside of him, one bad artist producer collaboration that you can remember off the top of your head.
Not so much from a production side, but y'all gave me a lot of crap for this one. Yayo. Come back.
Just talk to the empty chair.
Oh, that's terrible.
Talk to the empty chair. God dang, Tony Yayo. Moment I heard his name come out your mouth, I want to throw something across the room.
That's why I said it.
Yeah, he
oh goodness.
Yeah, but we all got that homeboy that we bring along, right? The day one
that's basically
we bring along. And he got an album out of that relationship with Fifth. I saw it was the video that he did with Buffy, the body, and I even with her as eye candy. I was like, I can't take no more than 8 to 9 seconds of this without losing brain cells. Somebody get me out of here.
My goodness.
It happens. It happens, man. What?
Tony Yayo. Lord have mercy.
Now, listen. He'll get busy in them streets, but just don't put a mic in front of him.
No. That sucker was dangerous out there. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not taking the street credit away. I'm not taking it away. He was a dangerous man, but he was not dangerous with a microphone. Maybe if he was using it as a weapon, he was dangerous. but bars being a weapon, no. Nah, that dude would have came out better throwing rocks at a person if he had to. That dude was trash on mic. Man.
It happens, man.
You know, remember
the bars, that was bank.
Hey, Shawn. Tony Yayo. Tony Yayo. That dude was trash.
As we used to say back then, when he would do that move, like, no, cover your mouth so we don't hear you.
For real.
John Cena's still doing it to this day.
Yeah, it's true. He is. He made it famous. Then Yayo got mad at him for making it famous. We're not gonna get into that right now. So we come to our last question. Overall best producer of the modern era. One. Only one you can pick, guys.
Here's what I'll say. Say if I decided all of a sudden I want to get out here and I want to be an OG spitter. And I put together an album based on where I'm at this stage and, just like things I would want to talk about and the sound that I would want to complement that. This guy, and actually it's him and Chad. I would go with the Neptunes for me specifically. You know what I mean? They came into their own in the late 90s. They've worked with everyone. The thing that I appreciate about them the most is their versatility, right? They can give you a down south, me moving this white, me moving this brown. And if you really want to get after, we'll move you type production from the clips. They can go out east. And they can work with Hove and, they can give you some classics with Hove. They can go out west. They literally have a sound that's universal. And then beyond just the rim of hip hop, they're the only cats that I know. They might go down to Houston and be like, all right, Bun B, let's go ahead and put this together. And then turn around and go see Gwen Stefani the next day.
And then
so
that's
for me
point.
Specifically, again, there's been some great ones, and I've listed some. We've all listed some throughout this podcast. But if I could have one sound that defined the music that to me matters, it's coming from Chad, it's coming from Pharrell, and it's coming from the Neptunes. That's my pick.
That's a good pick, man. Ice. One.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I ain't gonna lie though, but see, I want to cheat.
You can't cheat. One. You ain't getting no features. One. You're one.
One.
I know you.
Besides the posse cut with all of y'all on there, I could do a whole album by myself.
You be out here with like a 5-disc album. So I ain't talking about that. One producer. One. Who you got? Kind of like what Shawn set up. Like literally, if at where you are right now in your life, if you got yourself together to do an album, who would you trust to be able to get you to have the sound match exactly who you are?
I still off on Drake and take 40 for myself.
I could actually see that. When you said Neptune, Shawn, I was like, yeah, that actually makes sense. Like just personality wise. I was like, yeah, versatility.
All purpose.
Yeah, versatility, all purpose. can pretty much blend into every environment that they're in. Like they've done movies. You know what I'm saying? Like they've done anime. Like folk don't know that they've like actually tipped their fingers into.
Think about it. You're talking about the same group that did Keys Open Doors, turn around and did I'm Happy. I'm happy.
And it's fire.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not like nothing comes, like whatever genre that they go into, tap into, and whatever artist that they deal with, it doesn't seem forced, and it doesn't seem like, all right, we just got them because they were the Neptunes. Like you hear it and you go, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
And again, the versatility and the ability to adapt. And again, they've been at it now, since well over 20 years, since the late 90s. So the longevity is there. You're getting everything. And that's what I'm looking for. If I was to, my sound is not monolithic. So I don't want a producer that's monolithic.
That's right.
I want to be able to go different places, and I want to be able to trust a team or a producer, he or she that has ability to go different places. Yeah. And no one has encapsulated that more than the Neptunes.
Yeah, that's fair.
In my view.
I've been vibing to Entrepreneur, man. Goodness gracious, that track hit different right now. Black man, black man, black man, black man, black man, black man. You obviously just working, just like it's the black ambition. No, I'm like, let's get this money. So I feel you on that. Yeah. So this is very interesting that you both chose like folk that I can like literally see y'all. I can literally see you in a place with them. So that's pretty dope, man. So that's actually all of the questions. You know what I'm saying? So any final thoughts on like the importance of the producer in the live stream of music that we got going on? Like, like they have had an indelible impact on the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So any final thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. So first of all, once again, I appreciate you brothers for having me, man.
Absolutely,
you guys, continue to do good work. And, this was a great topic, and not surprising coming from you guys. And I would just say, for me, I think hip hop, and it's incredible because we talked about this on, on a couple of volumes I did on Champions Material, where hip hop has evolved from fighting for acceptance and respect and recognition from the 80s to being, in my opinion, at this point, far and away, the biggest genre within music.
Absolutely.
At this stage. That appeals to
without a question
everyone in all corners of the. So we're talking races, we're talking religions, we're talking whatever.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. And you can't have that, in my opinion, without the sound being able to appeal to all people, all races, all places, right? So we could talk about like the greatest MCs, and I know that's more of the sexier thing when you start talking about MCs and albums, and obviously that importance can't be overstated. But also what can't be overstated is it's the sound, it's the production. Very often, there are very few what I call them Nas's. Because Nas, to me, is the greatest hip hop artist of all time, who up until recently with Hit Boy, he's had some hits, but Nas as a great spitter, he's always carried the production for the most part.
That is
on a lot of the tracks. I think he's the best of all time when it comes to that. Where you said, okay, well, the production was all right, but man, that brother was saying something.
Yeah, let's keep it at 100. Most of his albums, the beats were not were borderline trash.
The beats were complimentary at best. You know what I mean? I'll just say that. But complimentary at best.
Yeah, but they were never really made for him. You could feel it because he's such a strong MC that he came off better doing acapella. Because like they didn't. I don't think like, at least like you said, like King's Disease, I was like amazed. I was like, who is this? I was like, this Nas? I was like, everything matched him. I was like, this is actually kind of insane. I've never heard Nas like that. We had a actual producer.
That was my point, where there's very few of them. Most MCs, and again, it's not taking anything away from what they bring to the table, but most MCs, what they were able to bring to the table was elevated by the production that complemented what they were doing. And there were times where you remember that beat as much as you remember that verse or that chorus or that hook. So when you're talking about the most popular and the biggest genre, the MCs are the face of it, but let's not act like the production takes a back seat to, if anything, the production is just as important for the most part. You have your Nas's, you have your J. Cole's. He's probably another one, in my opinion, where the production wasn't always, on point, but he was so great. Big Crit, let's not, some individuals where the production may not be crazy, but they were so prolific, it almost didn't matter to a degree. But for the most part, the beats and the sound behind the MC and the message, they all go together. And I think that at the end of the day, it's important that we recognize these hit makers, and we've listed them throughout this podcast. And it adds context to the sound of hip hop, rap, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, facts.
Oh, yeah. Man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, when it comes to producers, I mean, like y'all was saying, like, you know what I'm saying, like you got cats, they when they try to get their point across, if you have the right production, you can get your point across and more. But like if you ain't got the right person that's trying to see your vision through, then it, like what you say gets lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? Like they like Shawn was saying, like, you know what I'm saying, like oh, okay, well, yeah, he was on there saying something, like, and that's cool and all, but that beat was fine, man. Like and I can give you a good example of this. Nav and Weezy, they did an album together, and I still haven't made it past Friends and Family. Like that's my track on there. Like eventually I'll try to get past that track, but for now I just can't, because Weezy, no, I'm saying Weezy did his thing on that beat. Now, I say if you can get, let's see, and a lot of people give him a lot of slack because, say he has a monotone voice. Like if you've heard anything from him, like he basically sounds the same on every track. But I don't know. I'm gonna try to give him another try. But and that's the thing. Like you got some cats that come in, unless you just got an extensive memory, you won't remember them. So I say we still talking about Dr. Dre to this day. We still talking about Jay Dilla, No ID. You know what I'm saying? Like High Tech, Soundtrack. Who else? And it's probably some people that I'll probably think about later on. We still, like, you remember the producer faster than you remember the artist. You know what I'm saying? Like matter of fact, all the cats on the production team from Top Dog, I think they call themselves Digiphonics or something like that. Like DJ Dahi, Soundwave.
Ali, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like all them cats. Matter of fact, one of the in-house producers with Strange Music, 7. You know what I'm saying? Like when Tech really, like when he really had his run, when he was in his stride, like 7 had probably almost the whole album on some cast productions. Like I'm trying to think who else. You didn't like I know with them, like you really didn't hear anybody else. And then like even right now, like I say, like it's like if you coming out of Atlanta, you probably had at least one Metro produced track. Let me see, Murder, he in and out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think. I think he's actually from Canada, I believe. I might be wrong, but he had a good run when Migos came out. Phenom the Don.
Yeah, no doubt. One thing I cannot wrap this without, because I gotta wrap up soon. I cannot let this podcast go without, shouting out the Dungeon family, Sleepy Brown in particular, and the sound behind, in my opinion, the greatest, hip hop group of all time, Outkast.
Yes.
So let's give them some flowers as well. Again, this is a wide ranging topic, so it's easy, unfortunately, to just, have a few of the great slip your mind, but I just refuse to let this podcast come to a close without, shouting out the Dungeon, Sleepy, and that whole crew too, because they gave us some noise. Yeah, with Outkast as well as Goody Mob there for a minute before CeeLo became C-No.
Yes.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast situation.
We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.
Like so
well, I mean, case, Earth Tone 3. Because that was who Rico, Sleepy, and it was one more because there was 3 of them. I forgot who the other one was, but yeah, no, you're right. Because Earth Tone, they pretty much carried all the production on any dungeon production. So
yeah. I mean, so like this has been dope because, like I said, for me, like I just listened to the music. I wasn't looking nobody up. So like I like listening to you guys. I'm like, that's pretty dope. These suckers like know the people. This is pretty gangster. So I appreciate both of y'all. I mean, this is, I think the music lovers, aficionados will really, really enjoy this conversation, and hopefully they'll be able to carry this conversation over. And Shawn, take this topic and put it on Champs when you're ready to jump back in. Grab your peoples and do a whole nother set. And see, and it'll probably be a whole different conversation once again, because you're adding all new, people to and different demographics and backgrounds. So, like you feel free to steal this and use it. You know what I'm saying? Once you're ready to jump back in the game, once you're the workload and stuff like that comes back down. But thank you for making some time to do this, man. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? And when you're ready to jump back in, you let me know. So we can help out what we can. Okay.
Yeah, man. And actually to that point, man, life happens, right?
Yeah.
And so, I had to step away and take care of some business, and you have to make sure your inner G, INNERG, your energy is on point, and not spread yourself thin doing too much. It's not about if you can, it's sometimes should you, and you have to be able to have that balance. So I had to step away and take care of some business, but we're back. And actually, to your point, and I'll go ahead and announce it here on ENigmas Unchained.
Okay.
Champions Material. And hold on, let me actually back it up and get the voice. Champions Material, Season 3 will premiere this coming Monday, October 25th. Anywhere podcasts are found. You can also find us on the official Champions Material YouTube channel. We're going to do a 2-part premiere discussing all things NBA. We're talking the recently announced 75th anniversary team, which was an update on the 50th anniversary team from 97. Kyrie, we're talking on court, off the court, polarizing subject matter, polarizing player.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons. Well, for the purposes of this podcast, WTF. And we're going to do an upcoming season preview as well. So just getting back into the game. So definitely check that out. As you know, Champions Material serves as a platform where we have different topics, different guests. We hope to make you laugh. We hope to make you think, and everything in between. But most importantly, above all, never forget, whoever you want to be and whatever you want to be, always be the champion of it. That's Champions Material. Get at your boy.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So that's real good news. I was listening to your old ones and I was like, it's time. As I was listening to, I went back and listened to your last 4 episodes while I was walking, and I was like, yeah, it's about time. It's about time to make this work. So thank you, man. Thank you for that. So Ice, always good to have your own brother with me. You know what I'm saying? It's always fun to get the family together. Family. You know what I'm saying? Family. You know what I'm saying? So, so that's what we do with the ENigmas, man. So until then, of course, you guys can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm gonna use talking trash on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause there's a lot to talk trash about. Check out the Dave Chappelle Dilemma that just dropped. Like that will piss a lot of people off, and I look forward to hearing them being pissed off. The so it literally just dropped. When this airs, it'll have dropped at least 2 or 3 days prior. But yeah, we recorded that the other night, and it was an hour of raw content about the whole Dave Chappelle debacle that's going on right now. So yeah,
you're talking about from the closer, right?
Yeah,
Sticks and Stones. That definitely put some gasoline on the fire, and the closer was the match.
Yeah, for real. So we're like looking at this from that perspective. So please enjoy that episode. And then of course there's another 2. We talk about gaming, the gaming industry becoming too expensive. And what the ramifications of that is going to look like if they continue to go on that particular route. Those are episodes you'll catch before this. This one right here, you get to this, you definitely enjoy this bad boy. But until then, solve those enigmas. Do not leave them unsolved. We ain't like ENigma. This is T-Nigma. And then I got an IC ENigma.